Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nikki and I am the Managing Director of Ingenious Personnel, which is a recruitment agency. On today's topic, we are going to be talking about the types of questions that you can ask the interviewer in an interview. So if you are somebody that is maybe interviewing or somebody that is maybe looking to make that career move, please do stay tuned because the questions coming up might just help you. So let's get into it, guys. If you are interviewing and you go for an interview with an employer, at the end of the interview, they are going to ask you, do you have any questions for us? So this is after they have asked you or bombarded you with all these questions to make sure that you are suited for the position. You will then be given an opportunity to ask any questions that you have. If you are somebody that has personally worked with an agency or with a recruitment agency, they will prepare you for the type of questions that you can ask in the interview. But if you are somebody that is not working with a recruitment agency, this video will then help you to get yourself prepared for the questions or to ask the questions at the end of the interview. So, if you are interviewing and the interviewer asks you, do you have any questions for us? One thing that you need to remember is always at least have a minimum of 3 questions that you will ask in the interview. You always want to have a question to ask in the interview. You always want to ask questions in an interview. You have to ask questions in an interview, guys, because by asking a question in the interview, not only does it show that you are interested in the position, it also shows that you are seeing a future within the company that you are recruiting for. You're not just looking for a temp position or a temp job and your ultimate goal is not here. So you must really ask questions in an interview. So get a pen, get a paper, write the questions down. If you are maybe thinking that you might get to in the interview and you will forget what type of question to answer, you're welcome to just write the questions down, take a notepad with you in the interview, and then you can just look at your questions when they ask you, do you have any questions for us? And you can ask them by looking at your notes that you made. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can do that. So, question number 1 that you want to ask is, tell me about the culture of the business. So you could say, tell me a little bit more about the culture of the business. What is the culture of the business like? Then you want to break that question down, the same question. Then you would say, okay, tell me about the culture of the team that I'm going to be joining. What is the culture of the team like that I'm going to be joining? What is the type of personalities? What is the dynamic of the team that I'm going to be joining? This question will give you an understanding of the type of personalities that you're going to be working hand in hand with. So you want to know the culture of the business, even though you can Google that, or you can look it up and research it. And then you also want to know the type of dynamics within the team that you're going to be working with, because that's important. Just to tell you a little bit more about my story, there was a time in my life where I worked for a company and I was only there for a short period of time. If I think back, guys, I think I was only there for 2 weeks. No, for about 2 months. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with the business. But there was everything wrong about the culture of the business. I was not a culture fit for the business. And I had to learn from it, because prior to myself joining the business, I did not do thorough research, So you want to do thorough research about the culture of the business, because the culture of the business is extremely important. You do not want to join an organization and then 3 months into the business you realize, I'm not the culture of this company, and then you put yourself back onto the job market. Nobody wants to do that. So make sure that you ask these questions in the interview. You also want to go and verify these questions if it is true. Okay, so that is the first question that you can ask. Second question that you can ask the interviewer in an interview is, what are the type of challenges that you have within the department? There's definitely a challenge in the department, because otherwise they wouldn't be recruiting. The fact that they're recruiting means that there is a problem that they want to be fixed, or hoping to be fixed. So that's why there's a possible opening within that department. So what you want to ask the interviewer is, what type of challenges are you currently facing within this department? And when do you want those challenges to sort of be resolved? Within the next 30 days, within the next 60 days? How soon do you want the challenges to be resolved? Because once you know the challenge that this department is facing, especially if you're an accountant or in the finance division, you want to know the challenges that they have, because that will give you an indication of, okay, this is the challenge, these are my skills. These two go hand in hand. I can solve this. I've done this before. It will give you an indication of what to look forward to should you get this position. So those are the type of challenges. It will also give you an indication of, but how are you guys having this challenge? This shouldn't even be a challenge. It will sort of give you an alarm bell to say, okay, there's something wrong with this company, because according to my understanding, this should not be a challenge. It will make you review, whether this is a business that you want to work for or not. So that is the other question that you can ask. So I've mentioned culture fit when it comes to the entire business or the entire organization. And then I broke it down to say, ask also about the department, the culture fit of the department and the different dynamics that are currently in the department. Then we also spoke about the challenges that you have within the department. What type of challenges? How soon do you want these challenges to be fixed? Because how soon will give you an indication, is this realistic or is this not realistic? Lastly, what I would say is, you want to personalize that interview, because this last question is something that you cannot Google. You cannot research this question. You will get a sense of the answer in the interview. So you want to ask the interviewer, okay, so Nikki, you have been working for this business for the last 10 years. What makes you, or what has made you stay within the business for so long? What makes you wake up in the morning to come to work? What is it about this company that you absolutely love? Now you're personalizing the question. You're giving the interviewer a chance to brag about how great this company is. And or you will get a sense when they're answering the question that something is up here. So that is the type of questions that you want to ask in the interview. The type of questions that you want to stay away from in the interview are, do not ask about salary. Because if you are going through a recruitment agency, the recruiter would have told you what this position is paying. That's one thing. Do not ask about work hours. What are the working hours? I mean, really. That is something that should have been discussed with you up front. So those are the type of questions that you want to try and stay away from, because they could be a put off to the recruiter. Why are you asking about work hours? That means you will have a problem should we ask you to come and work a little bit late, or if we ask you to come on a Saturday, you're going to have a problem with it. So don't ask such questions. What the type of questions that you want to focus on is the ultimate goal. Because you obviously applying for this position because you're seeing a future in this role. Otherwise, you wouldn't be applying for it. or you're applying for this position because you see yourself growing within this business. Otherwise, you wouldn't be applying for it. So those are the type of questions that you want to ask, in an interview. If you are not strong enough to ask this last bonus question, guys. So this is the last bonus question that you can ask the interviewer in the question. You don't have to, but you can. So you can ask the interviewer, okay, so now you have called me for an interview because of a specific skill that you saw on my CV. They liked your CV. That's why you're sitting there and you are being interviewed. And now they got a chance to meet with you. So they now have a sense of your personality and how you handle questions, and they can obviously get a sense of who you are. You ask the interviewer, now that you have seen all of this, do you think that I could possibly be the right person for this position? And then you wait for the answer. Because that answer is going to tell you and is going to eliminate all the other things that you could be feeling after the interview. Whether, did I do right? Did I answer this right? All those questions, this question is going to eliminate all of that. Because if the interviewer says to you, yes, you are, but you lacked on question A or you lacked on question B, this now is an opportunity for you to redeem yourself. Now you can ask, okay, but how about I answer that question like this? Or how about I elaborate a little bit on what I meant? Because sometimes recruiters don't necessarily ask you to do all these things or to elaborate. They take your word as on face surface. So by you asking this question, you would get an opportunity to elaborate a little bit more. Not only that, guys, this question eliminates you sitting on the phone, waiting for the recruiter, waiting for feedback after the interview, because you would have known. They would have told you, no, you're not the best person for this job. You're definitely not the person that we're looking for. Or they could tell you lacked here and here and here, and you can redeem yourself by answering or elaborating a little bit more on the interview. So it will really eliminate a lot of doubts and questions, and it can also give you a sense of if there's an area where you need to work on. You can then take that information that you got from the interview and you can work on that specific area that they told you lack on. So it's a good question to ask. I hope this information was useful, guys, and I will see you next time. Stay safe.